面对这场世纪大流行病，有谁准备好了吗？
This country is very, very well prepared.
We are prepared and we have the stocks of PPE.
The fact that there is a pandemic influenza stockpile is considered a very high quality mark of a prepared country.
政治领袖们信誓旦旦的口头保证，却是如此脆弱，一击即碎。英国 Channel 4 News 深入检视了官员们口中的准备，并不如他们所以为。
They will be the defining images of this crisis. NHS staff in masks, gowns and gloves, personal protective equipment, PPE, a safety net against the most deadly pandemic for a century. But we know something went terribly wrong. There were pictures of staff in bin bags, out-of-date masks were distributed, and relatives began to ask, did they die because they didn't have the right equipment?
A lack of PPE is obviously going to lead to, unfortunately, more deaths of frontline NHS workers.
We want to feel that a value is placed on our safety, a value is placed on our lives.
英国政府在这场大流行病危机开始之前，曾经保证拥有最充足的医疗储备。
For England alone, there were 190 million surgical masks, 116 million needles and syringes, and 28 million vital respirator masks. The inventory was continually checked, and we're told products that were about to expire were supposed to be released for use and then replenished, so that the stockpile was always in date. But we have now seen the stock reports from January the 30th. Now remember that day? The World Health Organization declared a health emergency of international concern. Yet, although our population had grown, the size of that stockpile had actually shrunk. And there's more. Of the 26 million respirator masks stored for use in England, 80% had expired. One pallet was 3,000 days out of date. That's nearly a decade. 53% of the surgical masks were also out of date. 100% of the combined needle and syringes had expired. Of all the PPE in the stockpile, 45% was out of date.
过去10年之间，堆放仓库中的口罩、手套、防护面具都正在过期。当局采取的做法不是补充置换，而是重新检测品质，然后贴上延展后的到期标签。就在病毒快速扩散，英国政府决定实施封城之际，这些库存已久的口罩用品被送到了第一线的医护人员手上。
And on March the 8th, the government said it would release the pandemic stockpile. Except 17 million respirator masks made by 3M had expired. They couldn't be distributed until they were tested. Those results didn't come through until March the 19th. The day after lockdown, this video shows the army loading up those 3M boxes. The health secretary himself was filmed with the stock, but they hadn't had time to relabel them.
We have the stocks. It's just a matter of getting the stocks to the right people on the front line.
But NHS staff quickly realised the stock was old. Some of the 3M respirator masks had expired last year. Use-by labels, peeled off, revealed layers of expiry dates, right back to 2012.
We wrote to the government and we asked them, could they assure us that actually, we were told, and a letter did go to the NHS to say that these items of PPE had been retested and that they were safe for use.
And what proof were you given that they had been tested, and what proof were you given that they were safe for use?
So we also wrote to the Health and Safety Executive. We weren't provided with any proof. They told us that it was scientific evidence. That's all the proof that they have given us.
The evidence we've uncovered also confirms that vital kit was never added to the stockpile. Visors, for instance, were dismissed on cost grounds, and in June last year a formal recommendation was made to government to buy gowns. That never happened. As the situation became more serious over Easter, a plane was sent to pick up supplies from Turkey. Today, it's been revealed those gowns are substandard.
It's been enraging to see the difficulties that we've had in supplying PPE to those who need it.
We're still hearing today that doctors, nurses, care workers, others on the front line don't have the protective equipment and clothing that they need to do their job safely. And part of the reason for that was that this stockpile hadn't been built up. Other mistakes have been made since. The government haven't sufficiently engaged, for example, with British manufacturers and textile companies who have offered to help produce some of the equipment that we need. And the government have struggled to bring in those imports from abroad. So there's a whole catalogue of errors when it comes to government procurement and stockpiling of PPE. And it's having a devastating impact on those who are working on the front line.
当危机来临，政府做对了什么？又有哪里出了差错？在前线作战的医护人员，在家里自我隔离的民众，都有权利追究真相。